You don't know what you're going to. That's part of the challenge, is you're dealing with all sorts of conditions, environments, as well as all sorts of issues with the patient. And you never quite know what you're going to get until you get there.
Ambulance service. Is the patient breathing and conscious?
Yeah, he's been knocked out. Just a motorbike and car collision.
So it's a car v motorbike. Okay. Can you see any obvious heavy blood loss?
No, I think he might have broke his leg.
I just need to try and rule out any life-threatening shock, okay? Does it look very pale or grey to you?
Yeah, they don't look the on the stomach.
All right. The help's already been arranged. When on blue lights and sirens, okay?
An ambulance has been dispatched, but critical care paramedic Faye is also urgently needed.
There's an ambulance crew in attendance with him. They say that he has got, thank you sir, a broken leg. He's in quite a bit of pain. They've maxed out on the amount of analgesic drugs that they can give him. So they have requested me to go and give some enhanced care. But if the impact was enough to break his leg, then there might be some underlying injuries that we haven't yet identified, so.
More than 300 motorcyclists are killed and over 5,500 seriously injured every year on Britain's roads.
Ah, yes, I see blue lights.
Faye arrives 17 minutes after receiving the call.
Hello, how you doing? Oh, he's a motorcyclist versus a car, yeah. Cameron, you say? Cameron, listen, my name's Faye, I'm with the Midlands Air Ambulance, okay?
On his way to work, 18-year-old Cameron's motorbike collided with a car. He was thrown off the bike, landing 15 feet away on the grass verge.
This is where you landed?
Where I landed, I flew straight over the bunny.
Okay.
The ambulance crew has already reported that Cameron has a broken leg.
Okay.
Gram of IV paracetamol.
Yep.
He's on his second bottle of Entinox, but he's in absolute
Agony. Okay.
You know, we can't even get the splint on him. That's why we've asked for a little bit more help.
No problem.
The pain relief given to Cameron by the ambulance crew isn't strong enough. But Faye's special training means she can administer more powerful drugs only carried by the critical care teams.
I'm just going to take your T-shirt off. I know it's absolutely freezing, mate, but you're not bothered. I am.
Before using it, Faye checks Cameron for any other serious injuries.
Any pain in your neck?
No, nothing.
No, okay. Nothing in your throat here?
no,
okay. Any pain in your tummy?
No, nothing.
No, okay. Any pain in your shoulders up here?
No, nothing.
No. Wiggle your right hand for me. Brilliant. Wiggle your left hand for me. Well done. Can you change your bottom cheeks together? That'll do. Okay. It's all this pain in your leg. Okay.
Yeah, just right.
Cameron has broken his right thigh bone, the largest bone in the body.
Which leg am I touching, left or right? Good man.
There is also the risk Cameron could have broken his pelvis or damaged his spine, which could cause paralysis.
No pain as I'm touching down your back? No, okay. Okay, wiggle your toes. Good man.
Thankfully, Cameron's spine doesn't appear to have been damaged. Faye can now turn her attention to his broken leg.
All right, Cameron, I'm sorry. It's not helping the fact that it's so bloody cold. Could you plug that into your
Oh my God, my leg's really gone out.
please?
Man, stop putting pressure.
We're gonna help you now, Cameron. Sorry, my friend.
Faye wants to get Cameron to hospital, but he's in too much pain to be moved.
At the moment, the reason why it's so uncomfortable is because you have broken your leg. Is the two bones are scratching against each other. Okay. As soon as it's in line, you will create your own pain relief because it's back where it should be. All right. It's all set up, isn't it? So if we give him a little shot of ketamine and.
Straightening his leg is an excruciating procedure, so Faye prepares to give Cameron a powerful painkiller called ketamine.
So, Cameron, I'm just going to give you this drug, OK? It will make you feel a little bit sleepy, but it's just so that we can pull. I'm only going to give you a touch so we can pull that leg. The moment we pull it, it'll actually feel... No, trust us. Trust us. 1, 2, 5.
It's essential Faye straightens Cameron's leg as soon as possible. While it's out of alignment, it could be causing internal bleeding with the risk of life-threatening blood clots.
Soon gonna be over, mate. Soon gonna be over.
Ambulance service. Is the patient breathing?
I think no breathing. I touched him, but no reaction.
Okay, is he breathing?
I don't think so.
We need to start CPR.
Yeah.
Okay, put one hand in the centre of his chest and lock your fingers together. You're going to keep your arm straight, push down hard and fast. Don't be afraid to push too hard, okay? You're going to go push, 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 push.
Yep, yep.
Say push out loud every time. Push, 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 push. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Keep pushing. Don't stop until they tell you to. Can you see the ambulance anywhere?
Yes, yes.
The collapsed man who's not breathing is a code red emergency. Local ambulance crews are on scene, and to help with advanced life-saving treatment, Mitch is also on his way.
So it's reports of a 40-year-old male who's had a cardiac arrest, so hopefully we can help out where we can.
With cardiac arrests, time is crucial. When the heart stops beating, no blood is pumped around the body, starving vital organs of oxygen. Every minute without CPR, the chances of survival drops by 10%.
Oh, there, guys, you all right? It's Mitch.
Chap found by passerby. Passerby was doing CPR, but he said it didn't look that effective, but he was doing his best he could.
The man was found 17 minutes ago, collapsed and in cardiac arrest.
A little bit faster, Chief. Keep your elbows straight. That's it.
He's had 3 shots, and he's had one of them.
OK, what we'll do is we'll go on the next rhythm check at 13 minutes past.
The ambulance crew found the man's heart in VF, or ventricular fibrillation, which means it's quivering rather than beating. Despite using the defibrillator 3 times and administering adrenaline, it has not regained a normal rhythm.
Everybody else stand clear for me. On 1, stand clear. So 3, 2, 1, back on the chest, guys. OK.
The man is only in his early 30s. Mitch and the crew are battling to save his life.
Ambulance service. Is the patient breathing?
She's breathing, but she's not responding.
Okay. Does her breathing sound noisy? Is there any gurgling or wheezing sounds?
Yeah, if I get close. Sue, are you okay?
Is she responding at all?
No, she's giggling.
Just try and roll her on her side, remove anything from under her head and just keep checking this breathing for me, okay?
Okay.
Is she diabetic at all?
No, she's got MS.
She's got MS, okay.
The woman who has multiple sclerosis is unresponsive and struggling to breathe.
It's a 60-year-old female MS patient. She's been found unresponsive this morning, vomiting and aspirating.
A local ambulance is already on scene and has reported the patient, in her 60s, is choking on her own vomit.
She is a little bit of a large lady, so they have requested an extra 2 ambulances to assist, and we've got your stuff going as well.
Roger, thank you.
It's a potentially life-threatening incident, so critical care paramedic Kerry Hemus is also en route.
We're not sure what the cause is at the moment, and the crew are having to give her oxygen and assist to ventilations. I do carry a little bit of different kit with regards to ventilation, so maybe I could assist with that, so I'm kind of thinking that through in my head. She's apparently a larger lady, so it's not going to be as easy as just sort of popping her on a chair or a scoop and just getting her out of there.
Kerry arrives on scene. 3 ambulance crews are already there.
Hiya. Hello there. Hi all. Hello. Hello. That's fine. Yeah. Does this lady live alone?
She does, yeah.
And what level of care do you know?
Full time today, all care. She's a little bit wheezy.
62-year-old Susan has multiple sclerosis, an incurable, sometimes debilitating disease affecting the central nervous system.
What was her last blood pressure? Okay.
Susan, open your eyes for me, Flower.
The ambulance crew has cleared her airway of vomit and she has been given oxygen to assist her breathing.
Right. So what's her rest rate now?
20.
20, lovely. Bless her.
Susan, hello.
She's very warm, isn't she?
She's got fentanyl patch which was removed.
Right.
She's had 800.
So she's had it every 3 to 5 minutes.
Susan was wearing a slow-release fentanyl patch for pain relief for an existing condition. Worried she may have received too much of the strong painkiller, the paramedics have removed the patch and are giving her Narcan, a drug that reverses the effects of opioid overdose.
She's got a lot more responsive than she was.
But Susan's breathing is still laboured and she appears confused. Kerry and the crews need to decide how to get her out and into the ambulance.
Right, are we thinking parachute? Do you want to get her on the sheet on the bed? If we roll her, pop it on, so slide under as much as we can, then roll her towards this way, pull it out, and then we can lower her to the floor, and then we can all just do a bit of sliding.
The slide sheets emergency teams use to move patients in tight spaces can carry people weighing up to 62 stone. Kerry coordinates the operation to get Susan out and onto the ambulance.
So if we try and concertina it on this end.
Sorry, Susan, sweetheart. Bend your legs for us, that's it, sweetheart.
Fantastic, well done.
Well done, darling.
To prevent her falling off, Susan's legs are placed in a large pocket at the bottom of the sheet.
Right then.
Susan is on the slide sheet, but getting her out and onto the ambulance is the team's next challenge.
You need to speak. Carry on speaking to us. Tell us what do you do? Where do you work? Just up the road. Doing what? Engineering. Okay.
Over in Dudley, critical care paramedic Faye Pollock is treating teenage motorcyclist Cameron following a collision with a car.
We've got everything at hand just in case we need to start helping him out with his breathing.
Cameron needs to be in hospital, but first Faye must realign his broken leg in order to ease his pain and to prevent a dangerous internal bleed.
We are all in position to give that a good pull. We're nearly ready, we're nearly ready.
Manual realignment is agonising, so Faye has given Cameron a strong painkiller and he is also taking gas and air.
Can you feel me touching you? Yeah?
The right one. Come on.
That's it, Cameron. What's at the pole? That's it, that's it.
Well done.
That's it, Cameron. It's done, mate. It's done.
Now the leg is straight, it needs to be kept in position.
That's it. Get ready with the pole. That's it. Yeah, pull the red now. Pull the red tab. Yeah, that's it.
Faye uses a traction frame to lock it in place.
That's it, that's it, that's it. Let's see how that is. Let's see his legs. Let's see his legs.
Well done. Well done.
Cameron, how is that feel? Is that feeling any better now?
Yeah, it feels better, yeah.
Okay, excellent. Well done, everyone. Cameron, what we're going to do is just going to roll you onto your poorly leg for just a second to get the stretcher under you. So it's only going to be for a few seconds.
Sorry, mate.
Fuck off.
Fine, we're under. Right, ready, set, roll.
That's better. That's it. That's it. It's done. It's done. It's done.
Have another suck on that, mate. Have another suck.
I know you feel absolutely rubbish at the moment, mate, but you're quite lucky that we're only dealing with your leg.
1, 2, 3.
Brilliant. We'll get you nice warmed up.
To avoid hypothermia, Cameron is wrapped in blankets and foil to keep in as much body heat as possible.
Perfect.
Looks like it's tense it up.
Now that we've straightened it up, all your muscles are all out of kilter, so it will start to spasm. 6-2, thank you.
Faye calls the trauma desk, who will inform the hospital to Cameron's arrival.
We're going to Russell's Hall, trauma tool positive stage 3, and our ETA now is probably about 5 minutes. We've alerted the hospital, so there'll be a couple of doctors waiting for us. Okay, good man. He was extremely lucky that he hasn't suffered more injuries. He could have bumped his head straight onto concrete and got himself a traumatic brain injury. I appreciate he's probably in a lot of discomfort at the moment with a broken leg. He really is perhaps the luckiest chap around today, because it could have been far worse. We're here now, my sweet. All right.
Now as comfortable and stable as he can be, Faye can hand Cameron over to the waiting hospital doctors.
Just a few bumps, Cameron, okay?
Evening, I am here. I have drugs, so I'm just doing the checks, but you can use me if you need me, over.
It's Saturday night, and trauma doctor Matt Rowley and critical care paramedic Becky Chappell are beginning their shift.
We've had some really busy shifts together, but we've had some quieter shifts as well, so we'll see.
Years ago, everyone would say that Friday, Saturday nights are probably going to be your busiest nights of the week, but it can be a bit hit and miss. You can sometimes have busy weeknights, but historically, Friday, Saturday night will be busier. So I think as the night gets later on, we tend to see more things happening. Righto.
Ambulance service. Is the patient breathing?
Yes.
Are they conscious?
I don't think so. Well, my husband is falling down the stairs.
Okay. How old is he?
76.
We'll come with blue lights and sirens as fast as we can, okay?
A 76-year-old man unconscious after a stair fall is an immediate code red emergency, potentially requiring urgent critical care. So Becky and Dr. Matt are en route.
Worst case is if he has fallen top to bottom of the stairs, he could have a really significant brain injury, which has left him unconscious. If that's the case, we'll assess him when we get there, and potentially one of the things that we can do is to give him an anaesthetic and to put him into a medically induced coma.
In Britain, someone falls downstairs every 90 seconds, killing around 800 people a year.
Whether it's people that have slipped, whether they've had a medical event such as a heart attack or a stroke which has caused them to fall downstairs, whether they're intoxicated and fall downstairs, it definitely makes up a lot of our workload.
Becky and Dr. Matt arrived 16 minutes after their alert.
How you doing?
Hi,
You all
all right?
right? What we got?
Hello.
76-year-old Joe was on his way up to bed when he fell. His wife, Sybil.
Ambulance service. Is the patient breathing?
She's breathing, but she's not responding.
Okay. Does her breathing sound noisy? Is there any gurgling or wheezing sounds?
Yeah, if I get off soon. Are you okay?
Is she responding at all?
No, she's giggling.
Just try and roll her on her side, remove anything from under her head and just keep checking his breathing for me, okay?
Okay.
Is she diabetic at all?
No, she's got MS.
She's got MS, okay.
The woman who has multiple sclerosis is unresponsive and struggling to breathe.
It's a 60-year-old female MS patient. She's been found unresponsive this morning, vomiting and aspirating.
A local ambulance is already on scene and has reported the patient, in her 60s, is choking on her own vomit.
She is a bit of a large lady, so they have requested an extra 2 ambulances to assist, and we've got your stuff going as well.
Roger, thank you.
It's a potentially life-threatening incident. so critical care paramedic Kerry Hemus is also en route.
We're not sure what the cause is at the moment, and the crew are having to give her oxygen and assist to ventilations. But I do carry a little bit of different kit with regards to ventilation, so maybe I could assist with that. So I'm kind of thinking that through in my head. She's apparently a larger lady, so it's not going to be as easy as just sort of popping her on a chair or a scoop and just getting her out of there.
Kerry arrives on scene. 3 ambulance crews are already there.
Hiya. Hello there. Hi all. Hello. Hello. That's fine.
Found by carers this morning.
Yeah. Does this lady live alone?
She does, yeah.
And what level of care do you know?
Full time today, all care. She's a little bit wheezy.
62-year-old Susan has multiple sclerosis, an incurable, sometimes debilitating disease affecting the central nervous system.
What was her last blood pressure? Okay.
Susan, open your eyes for me, Flower.
The ambulance crew has cleared her airway of vomit and she has been given oxygen to assist her breathing.
Right. So what's her rest rate now?
20.
20, lovely. Bless her.
Susan, hello.
She's very warm, isn't she?
She's got fentanyl patch, which was removed.
Right.
She's had 800.
So she's had it every 3 to 5 minutes.
Susan was wearing a slow-release fentanyl patch for pain relief for an existing condition. Worried she may have received too much of the strong painkiller, the paramedics have removed the patch and are giving her Narcan, a drug that reverses the effects of opioid overdose.
She's got a lot more responsive than she was.
But Susan's breathing is still laboured and she appears confused. Kerry and the crews need to decide how to get her out and into the ambulance.
Right, are we thinking carry sheet? Do you want to get her on the sheet on the bed? If we roll her, pop it on, so slide under as much as we can, then roll her towards this way, pull it out, and then we can lower her to the floor, and then we can all just do a bit of sliding.
The slide sheets emergency teams use to move patients in tight spaces can carry people weighing up to 62 stone. Kerry coordinates the operation to get Susan out and onto the ambulance.
So if we try and concertina it on this end.
Sorry, Susan, sweetheart. Bend your legs for us, that's it, sweetheart.
Fantastic, well done.
Well done, darling.
To prevent her falling off, Susan's legs are placed in a large pocket at the bottom of the sheet.
Right then.
Susan is on the slide sheet, but getting her out and onto the ambulance is the team's next challenge.
You need to speak. Carry on speaking to us. Tell us what do you do? Where do you work? Just up the road. Doing what? Engineering. Okay.
Over in Dudley, critical care paramedic Faye Pollock is treating teenage motorcyclist Cameron following a collision with a car.
We've got everything at hand just in case we need to start helping him out with his breathing.
Cameron needs to be in hospital, but first Faye must realign his broken leg in order to ease his pain and to prevent a dangerous internal bleed.
We are all in position to give that a good pull. We're nearly ready, we're nearly ready.
Manual realignment is agonising, so Faye has given Cameron a strong painkiller and he is also taking gas and air.
Can you feel me touching you? Yeah?
The right one. Come on.
That's it, Cameron. That's it, that's it.
Well done.
That's it, Cameron. It's done, mate. It's done.
Now the leg is straight, it needs to be kept in position.
That's it. Get ready with the pole. That's it. Yeah, pull the red now. Pull the red tab. Yeah, that's it.
Faye uses a traction frame to lock it in place.
That's it. Let's see how that is. Let's see his legs.
Well done.
Fabulous. Cameron, how is that feel? Is that feeling any better now?
Yeah, it feels better, yeah.
Okay, excellent. Well done, everyone. Cameron, what we're going to do is just going to roll you onto your poorly leg for just a second to get the stretcher under you. So it's only going to be for a few seconds.
Sorry, mate.
Fucker!
Fine, we're under. Right, ready, set, roll.
That's better. That's it. It's done.
Have another suck on that, mate. Have another suck.
I know you feel absolutely rubbish at the moment, mate, but you're quite lucky that we're only dealing with your leg.
1, 2, quick.
Brilliant. We'll get you nice warmed up.
To avoid hypothermia, Cameron is wrapped in blankets and foil to keep in as much body heat as possible.
Perfect.
Looks like it's tensing up.
Now that we've straightened it up, all your muscles are all out of kilter, so it will start to spasm. 6-2, thank you.
Faye calls the trauma desk, who will inform the hospital to Cameron's arrival.
We're going to Russell's Hall, trauma tool positive stage 3, and our ETA now is probably about 5 minutes. We've alerted the hospital, so there'll be a couple of doctors waiting for us. Okay, good man. He was extremely lucky that he hasn't suffered more injuries. He could have bumped his head straight onto concrete and got himself a traumatic brain injury. I appreciate he's probably in a lot of discomfort at the moment with a broken leg. He really is perhaps the luckiest chap around today, because it could have been far worse. We're here now, my sweet. All right.
Now as comfortable and stable as he can be, Faye can hand Cameron over to the waiting hospital doctors.
Just a few bumps, Cameron, OK?
Ambulance service. Is the patient breathing?
Yes.
Are they conscious?
I don't think so. Well, my husband is falling down the stairs.
Okay. How old is he?
76.
We'll come with blue lights and sirens as fast as we can, okay?
A 76-year-old man unconscious after a stair fall is an immediate code red emergency, potentially requiring urgent critical care. So Becky and Dr. Matt are en route.
Worst case is if he has fallen top to bottom of the stairs, he could have a really significant brain injury, which has left him unconscious. If that's the case, we'll assess him when we get there, and potentially one of the things that we can do is to give him an anaesthetic and to put him into a medically induced coma.
In Britain, someone falls downstairs every 90 seconds, killing around 800 people a year.
Whether it's people that have slipped, whether they've had a medical event such as a heart attack or a stroke which has caused them to fall downstairs, whether they're intoxicated and fall downstairs, it definitely makes up a lot of our workload.
Becky and Dr. Matt arrive 16 minutes after their alert.
How you doing?
Hi,
You
all
all
right?
right?
So,
What we got?
hello.
76-year-old Joe was on his way up to bed when he fell. His wife Sybil called 999.
Joe, can you stick your tongue out for me? Good man. Give my hand a squeeze. Joe, give my hand a squeeze for me.
Joe is barely responsive and his speech is slurred, which could indicate a brain trauma.
Do you know where you are at the moment? Where are you? Say again.
Yeah.
To properly assess him, Matt and Becky need to get Joe onto the ambulance.
Right, OK.
Okay, you're just walking down it.
Joe, just relax for her. Just relax,
Okay.
darling. Have you got pain in your head?
We're going to get you in the ambulance and have a little look at you. Get you warmed up first, yeah?
Give both of your feet a wiggle for me.
It's a good sign. But Joe needs a hospital scan to fully assess if there has been any damage to his spine.
Good, well done. Let's have a little feel of your chest. You got any pain anywhere, Joe?
Joe has no obvious serious injuries, but he's confused and his breathing is laboured.
He's definitely struggling, isn't he, from a respiratory point of view?
Brain trauma remains a risk. Becky seeks clues from his wife.
Does he take any blood thinners?
I think he does.
If somebody's taking blood thinners, they're at an increased risk of bleeding. So if they have bumped their head, been unconscious, they've got an obvious head injury, they are at risk of having a significant bleed into their head.
All right, are you in pain, Joe?
I'm going to swap with you, so in 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1. OK, jump out of the way, George. Nice one.
In a Wolverhampton churchyard, critical care paramedic Stephen Mitchell is leading the resuscitation of a man found collapsed in cardiac arrest 22 minutes ago.
That looks like VF. Georgia, can you charge the monitor? OK. Everybody else stand clear, please. OK, everyone clear? Yeah. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. OK. Right.
The man has now had 8 shocks from a defibrillator, but his heart has not gone back into a normal rhythm.
I'm going to get the Lucas device out. Open up the Lucas device over there for me, please.
Despite being very unstable, Mitch makes the decision to move the man to hospital.
OK, so mate, do you want to sort of go the other side and feed that under his back for me?
To keep blood pumping on the journey, he decides to use a Lucas device. Only carried by the critical care team, it performs automatic chest compressions.
We're going to place that underneath him, so I need you to lift his shoulder up for me. Sit him slightly forward, so Georgia, can you support his head? And then we'll put that underneath his armpit. Slight lift. Go on, put it through, Rich, that's it. Go for it. Yeah, push it on. OK, it's about to start, OK.
Lucas device fitted, Mitch can now move the man to the ambulance.
Right, what we'll do, guys, we're going to lift either side, watch everybody's toes, just feed the trolley in. Would you mind grabbing the foot end of the stretcher? Rich and myself, we're lifting the stretcher on 3. 1, 2, 3. Dan, push. OK, push. Sit. George, get the patient on the truck for me, please. OK, ready? OK, watch your back. OK, that's VF. Charge and shock that, yeah? Everyone clear? Yeah. Shock in.
Before they move, Mitch gives the man another shock to try and get his heart back into a normal rhythm.
6-2.
6-2, go ahead, Mitch.
Mitch calls the critical care desk, who will update the nearest cardiac unit on the situation.
So, male, 30s to 40s. Currently, Lucas, he's had 9 shocks and he's in VF. He was found rather than witnessed. Proceed.
Yeah, thank you, Mitch.
Nice one, Rich, just nice and steady.
9 minutes later, Mitch delivers the man to hospital, with the Lucas device still maintaining blood flow round his body.
Yeah, you're happy there. Oh, slowly, slow. Yeah, it's right. OK, got it. Oh. All right, cheers. Yeah. His heart was in a disorganised rhythm throughout, and it needs shocking all the time or special drugs, so we brought him here where we can sort of take that a little bit further. And unfortunately, he's quite cold today, and whether that's been a factor to what's happened, we don't know.
You grab that bit and then OK. Everyone ready? Are we going onto the floor now? Happy? Just gently does it?
In Birmingham, critical care paramedic Kerry Hemus is leading the effort to get 62-year-old Susan onto the ambulance.
Ready, steady, move. I'm sorry, Susan.
Ready.
Everyone happy?
Yeah.
Lower. If we try and lift and slide at the same time, is that all right?
Susan, who has multiple sclerosis and is also overweight, is confused and having trouble breathing. Suspected of suffering from an accidental overdose of painkillers, she has been placed onto a slide sheet and taken off her bed. Kerry now needs to oversee getting her out of the house.
Ready, steady, slide. Is everyone happy? Ready, steady, slide. Perfect.
Sorry, Susan.
That's fine, darling, that's fine. Right, we've got a little bit of a lip here we're going to need to lift her over, so ready, steady, slide. Right, is everyone happy? Okay, we'll just go, yeah. Well, we'll go up as far as we can, yeah? Everyone happy? Mind your back.
The most strenuous part of the procedure is lifting Susan onto the stretcher.
Right, ready, steady, lift. Okay, just a bit, legs on first, that's fine, and then we'll readjust. Shall we stop a second, reposition? Yeah? When you're ready, yeah? Ready, steady, move. Beautiful. Right, let's get her in the warm and then we'll reassess. How are we doing, Susan? Okay.
Happy?
Yeah, happy.
Led by Kerry, but working as one, the paramedics start their transfer of Susan to hospital.
Yeah, slipper here as well. Oh, mind your foot. That's it.
Take you to hospital, Susan. I'll write to her later.
With Susan's breathing still laboured,
There's a wheeze on the chest if you want to let them know.
Kerry travels with her in case she needs critical care. At the hospital, Susan's symptoms will be investigated further.
Right, I'll take this in with me. Her conscious level has come up and she started to respond. Is what we call aspirated, and that some of that vomit has gone on to her lungs, which is why she's wheezy. And now it's over to the hospital to try and make her better and sort her out.
Ambulance service for patient breathing.
Yeah, but it's really emergency. He's got a massive wound and he's breathing and I can't stop it. You can see his stomach.
Get a dry dressing or a clean cloth, fold it into a pad and press onto the wound. How old is he?
40.
Can you try and talk to me on the phone? Hello, sir. Where have you been stabbed?
In my belly.
Have you lost enough blood to fill a coffee mug?
Oh, there's blood everywhere.
A knife wound to the abdomen could be a Category 1 emergency. An ambulance is en route, and just as Pete predicted on Payday Friday, so are he and Dr. Richard.
Got reports of a gentleman who's apparently been stabbed or slashed with a Stanley knife in a pub and has extricated himself home.
Now bleeding for over an hour, the volume of blood loss could become life-threatening. As Richard and Pete arrive at the house, our crew is asked to not film inside the property.
It's like a slash. No evidence of any major hemorrhage, and it looks like it's just in the fatty tissue.
The man's wound is superficial, and the local ambulance crew has stemmed the flow of blood loss.
We're going to just load him up and get him gone.
982 Whiskey Romeo, over. They're going to take him to the QE. There's laceration to the torso.
The patient needs hospital treatment, but his injuries are not life-threatening. Richard and Pete leave him in the care of the ambulance crew. It's shaping up to be a typical Friday night for the critical care team as their second emergency comes through.
Service, how can I help?
Hello, it's West Midlands Police. Can I have an ambulance, please?
Yeah, what's the reason for us attending?
We've got an RTC. One person has been ejected from the vehicle, possibly in a stolen car. He's been in pursuit.
We'll be there as soon as we can.
It's a road traffic collision with the potential for catastrophic, life-threatening injuries.
The details at the moment are all very sketchy and very limited. We're only about 3 minutes away, so I'm sure we'll find out soon enough.
Pete and Dr. Richard are the first medical team to arrive.
It's clipped the van, hasn't it?
Look at that. And is it this?
Fucking hell, they've ricocheted all down the road.
Police had been trying to stop a suspected stolen car, but the pursuit ended after the driver lost control, smashing into numerous vehicles on a residential street. An officer briefs Pete and Richard on the casualties.
Just the one patient, is it?
Yeah, well, we've got one in our police car there who was a passenger, but he's ran off and been caught in a foot chase. So our main concern is this guy here. He's been ejected from the rear and he was struggling to get up to begin with. We've managed to keep him as sedate as possible. So he's got some visible cuts on his eyebrows.
Hi, mate.
Alright.
How you doing?
Fine.
All right, I'm Pete, one of the paramedics. Can I just have a quick feel of your wrist, mate? Yeah. Okay. Do you know what day it is?
Yeah.
What day is it?
Friday.
Let's just whip your top up, mate. Let's have a proper look at you.
The man is alert, ruling out a brain trauma, but Pete needs to assess him for other serious injuries.
You got no pins and needles or anything on you? All right.
When the ambulance crew arrives, Pete brings them up to speed as they prepare to take the man to hospital.
He's got facial injuries. The best thing to probably do is, if we just get the stretcher, we'll do all the observations and the checks in the vehicle. You say you haven't got any medical problems like asthma or diabetes? You've got a hole in your heart. So any breathing feel all right? All right.
A hole in the heart can weaken it, and the artery supplying blood to the lungs. Pete wants to get the man onto the ambulance to check if he has any internal injuries.
Can you feel me touching that? Yeah. Give me a squeeze. And this one? Yeah, all right, okay.
Right, so let's sit forward and have a quick gander at his back.
We're going to sit you forward so we can just have a look at your back a little bit and your chest, okay? We'll sit you forward, okay? If you come forward with me, that's it. I'll keep a hold of you.
In Stourbridge, 76-year-old Joe has fallen down the stairs at home.
There, we've got a bit of an abrasion there. Joe, is it hurting anywhere? I'm pushing here. Yes, whereabouts? Tell me when it hurts.
In your neck?
I mean, there's no crepitus, there's no instability, deformity or anything there. I think from a brain injury point of view, he seems okay. He's able to talk to us and he's alert. I think we're more concerned that he's got an underlying medical problem that's caused him to have a fall.
Just leave that on, Joe. That's helping your breathing.
His work of breathing is quite hard. His oxygen levels are low, so there's a concern that there's possibly an infection in his chest.
Despite being on oxygen, Joe is still struggling to breathe.
I'll just go and speak to wife and see what it's been like in day where he's breathing.
Yeah, okay.
All right, my stuff's there if you want.
Any information Joe's wife has could help determine their course of action.
Has he been struggling with his breathing today? Has he been like breathing quite quickly and looking a bit out of breath?
Yes, I noticed it yesterday or the day before. He came downstairs and he couldn't get his breath. He was breathing, you know.
Right, OK, so he has been struggling today, but anyway, OK. So he has been struggling quite a bit today with his breathing, quite out of breath coming down the stairs and such. So I think this is probably how he's been.
A lung infection, like pneumonia, could quickly become life-threatening. Joe needs urgent hospital care.
Do you want us to travel with you, all of this, or?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Yeah, that's fine.
In case Joe's condition worsens, Becky stays on the ambulance, ready to provide life-saving treatment.
So was he initially unconscious, completely unconscious?
He was conscious throughout with us. His wife says that she's been conscious throughout with him.
Joe arrives at hospital, where any internal injuries and his difficulty breathing can be investigated further.
What we're going to do, we're going to get a stretcher here.
Yeah.
We're going to get you onto it, all right?
Yeah.
In Wolverhampton, critical care paramedic Pete Edwards and trauma doctor Richard Fawcett are on scene at a road traffic accident involving a suspected stolen car.
Don't move your head. Have you got any pain in your neck or anything?
A passenger who was thrown through the car's back window and onto the road hasn't moved since they arrived.
Okay. Definitely no pain in your legs, nothing? Sure, moving all right.
You can get up.
All right, okay.
Having found no evidence of serious injury, Pete decides it's safe for the man to stand up.
Okay, nice and steady. Just sit forward, right? Just nice and steady. No pains?
No, nothing.
All right then, mate. Come and sit on here then. Yeah. Pop yourself on there. Swing your legs up.
Further back.
It all seems to be facial injuries. You've been lucky, mate.
Incredibly, despite his ordeal, other than some cuts, the man appears unhurt.
He should have some major injuries, but actually, he's remarkably uninjured. Very lucky, extremely lucky. When you look up the street and see the damage to the cars, you'd expect some serious injuries, but yeah, nothing. Nothing major at least, anyway, which is a good thing.
It's 5 hours into Richard and Pete's Friday night shift.
On to the next.
And their third emergency call is coming through.
Ambulance service, can I help you? Hi, Amber, can we request your attendance, please? Yeah, are they conscious and breathing? We've got a vehicle that's gone into a wall. I think there's a number of people in the vehicle, not just one. What's the vehicle hit, sorry? It's hit a wall. We're currently requesting fire as well, because it sounds like potentially they're stuck in the vehicle. They're trying to get the female out of the rear, and she's screaming in pain. The engine has come out of the vehicle, so it's going to be very high impact. I'd be surprised if there wasn't any injuries.
Sounds that there's maybe people trapped inside the car, so either they've sustained serious injuries and they can't actually get themselves out because they've got broken bones, etc., or the impact of the crash has caused the metalwork to crumple and physically trap the patient inside, or a combination of both.
It's another typical post-midnight road traffic accident, and all 3 emergency services have been called to the scene.
From both ends of High Street.
Firefighters are trying to free a trapped passenger. The operational manager briefs Richard.
Female still in the back. She's got apparently some neck pain. The driver apparently has walked off, so unknown where he is at present, and they're not being very au fait of who he is and where he is.
The car has come around a bend, veered off the road and hit a stone wall.
A heck of a whack, isn't it?
Yeah.
The high-impact crash demolished the front of the vehicle, dislodging its engine and throwing it clear. The driver has disappeared, and the woman left trapped inside has just been freed, so Richard can assess her. She's traumatized and in pain, but Richard's satisfied the woman has no life-threatening injuries. It's the second remarkably unscathed passenger involved in a major car crash that Richard and Pete have had on their Friday night shift.
Not really got any apparent obvious significant injuries. It's just complaining of some neck and back pain over.
Fortunately for this individual, they can leave her in the care of the ambulance crew, who will take her to the nearest hospital.
It's quite a lot of damage to the front of the car, but actually the crumple zones have absorbed all the energy, and the actual part of the car where the passengers were sitting is actually undamaged. So they've got away with it really, done really well. It's got a shoulder injury, but otherwise seems uninjured with what could have been. She's got off lightly, so we're not required. Ambulance crew more than capable and happy to deal with that.
As Pete predicted, it's been a busy payday night shift for the critical care team.
We've done the stabbing, 2 RTCs, which is a pretty regular weekend night.
Ambulance service, is the patient breathing?
Westminster Police, can you join us at RTC, please?
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Is the patient male or female?
Adult male. He's still stuck in the car that he's crashed into a wall. So we're on to fire to get them to cut him out.
Right, okay.
I've got no idea on his injuries because we can't get into them.
Right, he's stuck in the car.
Yeah.
It's a major crash. Police, fire and ambulance are already at the scene. Now they've requested specialist trauma backup. Polly and Sarah are immediately dispatched.
Go ahead.
Patient is still trapped in the car with no change in his condition.
Thank you, Grant. We're going to be 3 minutes.
The driver has been trapped for over half an hour and the full extent of his injuries is still unknown.
Trauma desk, this is Mike Delta 98 on scene. Oh, there's quite a lot of debris here.
Evidence of a major impact is strewn down the street.
Where is
now some railings.
And we've
there.
got the car just there.
The car has spun out of control, demolished a wall before flipping sideways onto a driveway. Firefighters are still working to free the driver.
Got an ETA from the fire to get him out. It's been delayed every time. We've just tried one thing and it's not working.
Polly and Sarah are briefed by the ambulance crew so they can now lead the critical care.
I believe his legs are trapped by the pedals and twisted round. I can't assess his injuries at the bottom because it slipped through the wheels. None of them mangled round him.
In the smash, the engine has shunted back, trapping the driver from his abdomen. But it's too dangerous for Polly or Sarah to approach him.
All I know is that it's lower back pain. Yeah. So we might have to head him because I can't do anything until them legs are free.
Ambulance service, is the patient breathing?
I don't know. It's just fell off the roof.
Okay, how old is the patient?
81.
Are you with him at the moment?
I'm with him. It's got a smack on his face, on his tummy.
Can you check if he's conscious and awake for me?
Are you awake, love? No, he's not answering.
Okay. Are you breathing in and out normally?
No, it's not.
I've got help coming to you as quick as they can, okay?
An ambulance has been dispatched, but with the possibilities of a fractured skull and internal bleeding, the advanced clinical expertise of critical care paramedic Colin is also urgently needed.
So we're going to an 81-year-old male who was fallen off a roof. I think it was reported that he was unconscious, so that's where we're heading at the minute. And it's very close, actually, so we might actually be on scene first. 6-2, go ahead.
Falling from height is the biggest cause of death for people tackling DIY. Every week, someone is killed falling off a ladder. Fortunately, the address is just minutes from base, and Colin is first on scene.
What's his name?
Henry.
Hello, Henry. All right, my name's Colin. Can you hear me all right?
Yep.
All right, do you remember falling off the roof?
I haven't fallen off the roof.
Where have you fallen, from the ladder? Do you know where you are? Just keep your head nice and still for a minute, and we'll see what's going on with you, all right? You've obviously fallen and hit your head quite hard.
Henry, a retired teacher, was checking for leaks on his roof when he fell onto the concrete drive. His wife Patsy was at home and called 999.
He put his foot on the first one and he slipped.
Okay.
A local ambulance crew has arrived to help.
So he is conscious, he's maintained his own airway, he's got a strong radial pulse. I think the plan will be is that we'll mobilise him on a scoop, get him up off the floor, and then we can give him assessment in the back of the ambulance.
As well as a significant head wound, Colin's also concerned Henry has suffered internal injuries. And any medication he's taking could make bleeding significantly worse.
he on any blood thinners?
No, not blood
Not blood
thinners.
thinners.
He's
No.
on blood pressure tablets.
All right.
I've got his medicine.
We'll get everything for you.
What's your wife's name?
Patsy.
Patsy, he's okay. Okay, he's fully conscious. Just relax. Go and just calm yourself down because we're going to look after him and he'll be fine. There's no need to rush around and get yourself all worked up. He's going to go to the hospital for a checkup and some assessment, but he'll be okay.
Colin must keep Patsy calm. He needs to concentrate on Henry's trauma.
I'm just wondering, once the roof was off, how are we still lifting that engine block off his legs?
It's 3:30 in the morning, and Dr. Polly and critical care paramedic Sarah are waiting to assess a driver trapped after a serious crash.
Can I just get, canner in and stuff like that?
They won't let me do anything just yet. They've got a spreader holding the actual car apart at the moment.
Right.
So it's quite dangerous. The front end is really sort of
unstable.
Okay.
Miraculously, despite the high impact, the driver is alive and conscious.
Got an ETA at all to get him out? Sorry.
It's going to be a minimum of 5.
Rescuing the injured in these difficult environments relies on tight teamwork between all the emergency services.
In terms of stability and access to the patient clinically, can we work through this space at all to put a canner in?
We work around you if you need to.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're going to cut this now. We're going to get a lot more space to the roof off.
Yeah.
Polly needs to make the operational commander aware that the driver's condition may suddenly become life-threatening.
So essentially, from a clinical point of view, 40 minutes plus, having that engine block in your legs is a bit like having a tourniquet on.
Yeah.
As you release it, you're going to just dump loads of stuff, and that's the point at which he doesn't look so cool.
Using hydraulic jaws of life cutters, the firefighters begin taking the car apart.
My lovely, I'm going to give you something for the pain, all right?
An hour after the crash, and with the roof now off, Polly and Sarah can safely treat their patient.
It's paracetamol to start with, but into a vein, so it's stronger than normal. And then we're going to give you some morphine. Have you had morphine before?
In a position now where we can release legs.
Hey, they're going to move the dashboard off your legs now, okay? We've got a long board ready.
Having given the man pain relief, the team prepare to get him out.
Just going to have a look. Is that all right, mate? No, you're right. Even if you can't move it much, can you wiggle your toes inside your shoes, okay?
There's no blood around, so I'm happy that we're not bleeding and we can go.
Yeah. Okay.
Going well. Nice and steady.
Right, just wait a minute. He's got his legs very, very spread. Think about his pelvis. Sarah, has he got any pelvic pain? His legs are a real kimbo.
Before moving him, Polly wants to be sure he doesn't have a broken pelvis. This could cause a catastrophic hemorrhage.
Sweetheart, is there any pain in your middle by your hips?
No.
No, thank you. Can he come out now?
He can come out now if you're happy enough. There's no broken legs.
We need him out.
Polly stays alongside the man in case his condition suddenly deteriorates when they move him.
All right, mate, you're doing okay. All right, buddy, I know it's horrid. You're doing all right. You need to open your eyes for me, pal. That's it, good man. I know it's a horrid situation. Sweetheart, have you got any pain across your hips? In your back, in your lower back? Okay, from the middle. We're just trying to get some space to get you out, pal, okay?
Stay sitting forward as much as you can.
There's a hard board in behind you, okay? Yeah, of course we're going to be careful, pal.
You got enough people?
We'll take him to here.
Yeah.
That's it, well done, you're out, buddy. Okay, and down, and down. All right, matey.
Brilliant. Thank you, guys. That was brilliant.
All right.
It's taken a team of 21 highly trained emergency workers 72 minutes to get the driver out of the car.
Can you raise this leg for us?
Good man.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, now what he hasn't got his pelvis.
No, so his pelvis is fine, intact. To be honest,
Confident the driver has no immediate life-threatening injuries, the team prepared to move him onto the ambulance.
Okay, on your call at the head end, okay?
Okay, go.
And down. Great. Right, Delta 98, thank you. Patient is now being loaded onto the back of the ambulance.
While Sarah updates the trauma desk,
We're just going to do a top-to-toe assessment so that we can work out which hospital this is going to go to, is it?
I know your chest hurts to breathe, okay?
Polly assesses the level of the man's injuries.
We're going to bandage your leg, we're going to get you to hospital. All right, mate?
It's clear there is internal trauma. He needs an urgent scan. Polly and Sarah travel with him to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, Birmingham, where he's handed over to the waiting doctors for emergency care.
What were you doing, Henry? What had you gone up the ladder for?
In Oldbury, critical care paramedic Colin Apps is treating 81-year-old Henry, who has a serious head injury after falling off his roof.
Am I on the roof?
You're on the floor of the mountain, you drive.
You can't fall any further, Henry.
Henry suddenly seems confused. A worrying sign his brain is not working as it should.
Ready, lip.
His brain may be swelling and pushing against his skull, reducing the vital flow of oxygen-rich blood.
So she's put the ladder away, but he was up at this top of the guttering bit, and it sounds like he's just missed his footing on the ladder and fallen. The ladder stayed where it was, and he just fell down to the floor. So quite a fall for his age.
Can I read my card off so I know where you're going to assess your knee?
They won't let you in the hospital when we get there.
But how will I know where it is?
So what we'll do is we'll take your details,
right,
just next to it, and someone will call you from the hospital, okay?
Okay, come back.
COVID restrictions mean that Henry's wife Patsy can't go to hospital with him.
We just got him in the back of the ambulance. We're going to do a set of observations. He's obviously elderly, and he's had a decent fall, and he's lost consciousness, so that's a concern. He'll need to go to hospital with an alert so they can get him assessed and scanned, if possible, quickly if he needs it. It depends on his condition when he gets there. Just have a feel of his chest for me. Just have a feel all round this, because you check, I know you listen, just have a feel all round, just check for any fall. Does it hurt anywhere where we press on your chest?
As well as damage to his brain, Colin is concerned the impact of the fall may also have injured Henry's lungs.
Henry, do you have any pain in your tummy?
A blow to the chest can cause fluid to build up, which has life-threatening consequences.
And with your legs, can you move your legs for me? And that one? Can you feel me touching all the way down your legs? Yes.
Any pain in your chest at all?
Listen.
No, that's all right. You just look a bit red in the face.
After masking up, Patsy is allowed onto the ambulance to say goodbye, while Colin updates the trauma desk.
He's impacted the ground with the right side of his head, where he's got a large swelling and laceration above his eye and around his right zygoma. He also might have a broken nose. He's got no neck or back pain. He's got no chest pain. His chest all seems fine on examination. He's not 100% sure exactly what's happened.
Colin is happy Henry is stable enough to be left with the ambulance crew for the 10-minute journey to the nearest trauma centre.
They will assess his whole body. They'll make sure he's not got any injuries they haven't missed. They'll monitor his observations for a good while. They might even keep him in overnight. They might keep him in longer than that. He'll be in A&E initially, and then he'll probably be moved to a ward. So just try not to... As he is at the moment, he seems like he's recovering well. He should make a good recovery, how he seems at the moment, all right?
Thank you very much indeed for all your help.
All right, you take care.
Sorry about this.
No, you don't be sorry. We just hope he's all right, so all the best. His risk factor is his age, and that's why he's going to the trauma unit, where they can give him a rapid assessment to make sure that he's not going to deteriorate. You know, he's 81, he's fallen off a ladder. There's plenty of 20-year-olds that have fallen off ladders, so yeah, he's just got to be careful, but I should think he'll be able to get back to his DIY soon.
Hello, ambulance service. Is the patient breathing?
Is he breathing? Is he breathing?
Yeah, is he conscious and awake?
He's bleeding really badly. Hello? Can you have an ambulance quickly there? Sorry, I'm a nurse.
The patient's not fully conscious at the moment.
He's breathing but not fully conscious.
Okay, just explain to me briefly what happened.
He was on a cycle and he's gone over at the junction and a car hit him.
It's the highest priority, so over there as soon as we can.
We have a cyclist being struck by a car, one patient. The patient is fitting dramatic head injury. So if you could leave all resources running, please.
An ambulance has been dispatched, but there's a high chance the cyclist has a significant head injury.
Police room attendant shutting the road off. There's no danger to the crew. Don't require any other resources at present.
Critical care paramedics Aidan Brown and Ryan Ferris have been scrambled.
The initial reports came through that he's unconscious and having a seizure.
Likelihood that he could be a very unwell gentleman with quite a significant head injury.
Reports of the cyclist's condition is so serious, a trauma doctor has also been dispatched.
We've got a run time of 1 minute.
When they arrive, police and paramedics are already on scene.
Hello, good morning, good morning. Hi, I'm Ryan, one of the CCPs.
Hi, bud. You have a cyclist. He's very irritable now. He's got a nasty wound.
Was there any sort of active seizure activity on your arrival?
Yes, he's fitted.
He's fitted, has he?
I need you to sit still, darling.
All right, sir.
Try and relax for us. We've got you.
The 22-year-old cyclist was on his way to work when he crossed a busy junction and was hit by an oncoming car. The force of the impact threw him into the windscreen and he landed on the road.
Has he got a blown pupil?
No.
No, that's fine.
He wasn't wearing a helmet.
Eyes 1, voice 2, motor 5, so we'll give him a GCS of 8 with a high motor score.
Ryan's initial examination indicates an extremely reduced level of consciousness and a life-threatening brain injury.
Significant right-sided head injury.
Yeah.
But he has got a high motor score. No overpowering injuries, moving all limbs independently. Just very agitated.
Although unconscious, he's fitting and at risk of making the injury worse.
If you're happy, I think what we'll do, we'll sedate him a bit, get him relaxed. Yeah. We'll get him scooped onto the stretcher and we'll potentially just prepare in case he needs an anaesthetic and we'll get him off to sleep.
Aidan quickly prepares ketamine, a drug carried especially by the critical care team to calm him down.
I'll go 30 milligram potentially initially, just to try and get him relaxed.
Okay. Just hold that still for us, mate. Sorry. Let's just get a monitor. We've got a monitor there. Ryan, are you happy with the primary survey?
Sorry, primary survey-wise, yes.
Yeah.
Chest moving equally.
Yeah.
You've seen him move all his limbs.
Yeah.
He's both straight leg raised independently.
Okay, cool.
We'll just sort of talk to him, all right, because with the ketamine, he's going to have a bit of a strange sort of experience, okay?
The man is so seriously injured, he needs to be put into a coma. But there must also be a trauma doctor present to administer the anaesthetic.
I'll tell you what, let's get a bandage over that cannula as well. That's fine. All right, guys. This gentleman's going to go up to sleep. Okay, so just to make you aware, we're going to just prep, get him on there, and then we're going to give him an anaesthetic and set him up to sleep. All right.
So he's got a traumatic brain injury. It's significantly agitated with a low GCS. So we're just waiting for the HeliMed's medic crew with a doctor on board, and the plan is to take over his breathing, and then he'll be going to a major trauma centre. You stay with the patient, man, make sure we've got a full assessment.
Yep.
I'll set up for an RSI here. Okay?
Yep, that's fine.
While they wait for the doctor, Ryan and Aidan prep for the complex procedure, one that's normally only carried out in hospital.
So what we'll do, the obs are on. We'll get that on a 3-minute cycle, if you don't mind, please.
The cyclist is still in a very unstable and agitated state.
Have you got the ketamine still?
Yeah.
His blood pressure's fine. He's starting to fight us a bit more. Are you happy if I go for another 20?
Yeah.
Guys, just going to give him a little bit more ketamine, all right, just to relax him.
Thank you. Have you got a rough ETA, please?
Aidan checks the ETA of the doctor.
Just for your information, the patient is packaged on a scoop. We are fully prepped for an RSI, so we're ready on your arrival or received.
Any delay could be fatal.
Thank you. 7064 to 03, over.
The patient appears to have a traumatic brain injury, significantly reduced GCS and agitation.
Okay, everybody happy?
Right, okay, guys, so I'll take over from here. So we need 2 people going to do an RSI, so it's going to anaesthetise him, okay? The doctor's just a few minutes away.
A trauma doctor is en route, while the team at the scene prepare to put the critically ill man into a coma. This should reduce swelling and prevent any further brain damage.
So just pop that out the way, if that's okay, mate? Okay, so hopefully we'll get that reading in a second. We should have everything pretty much good to go. That's okay, I've got it here, yeah. Yeah, so just wait until we get some end tidal. That suction's all good to go. So observations are okay. We're in a good position in that sense. So as soon as we give some more ketamine, it'll stay a bit flatter and we can prep for the RSI.
Managing the patient's airway during the procedure carries a high risk of COVID transmission, so the critical care team must wear level 3 protective suits.
Okay, I'm going to take over this, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, are you happy?
Happy, thank you.
I'm going to go and get level 3, Ryan.
Yep.
So everything else should be good to go.
With everything now prepped, a second critical care car arrives with a trauma doctor on board. Aidan quickly briefs him.
It's been quite agitated, so it's had some ketamine. Everything's ready, including the drugs, so pretty much, as long as you make a quick assessment, whatever,
yeah,
it's
he's
good
on
to
this
go.
one now.
All right.
Dr. Jake Turner can now oversee the life-saving intervention.
Okay, guys, I'm going to go through a checklist, all right?
Okay.
So oxygen supply, oxygen, end tidal, BVM, suction, on and working, ECG, and ketamine. He has had 100 milligrams already, so now there's 100 left in there.
The doctor now administers the drugs that will temporarily shut down brain function.
Yeah, feels fine to ventilate. He is still breathing a bit. That is still him.
We're happy at the moment.
Happy, he's still saturating fine.
Okay, I think we have apnea now. On the ventilator.
At the point where the man is paralysed and no longer able to breathe for himself, Ryan must insert a breathing tube down into his lungs.
Okay, right.
Thank you.
Suction is here.
Cheers. Got it. Okay, got a grade 2 view, please. Of the bougie.
Yeah, the bougie.
Thank you.
He has just 5 minutes to start ventilating, otherwise he could die.
Hang on. I have the bougie.
Bougie through the cords, that's 23 centimetres at the teeth.
Okay, Ryan, you want to hold left hand, right hand?
Left hand, please.
Happy with this?
Happy, thank you. Thank you for that,
I'll
Aidan.
sort the vents inside, shall I?
The team have successfully anaesthetised their patient and taken over his breathing.
Okay, so end tidal 6, I'm just going to bag a little bit more, bring it down.
Okay, guys, vent is set up inside, ready to go.
He's now ready to be taken to the nearest major trauma centre.
So, happy, he's on about 480 volume. You happy to bring his rate up slightly?
Yeah.
Just for that end tidal.
6-2, thank you. Atmos when you're ready.
Aidan puts in a call to alert them of his arrival.
Thank you. Approximately 20-year-old male, traumatic brain injury, treatment given. He's had TXA. He's had an RSI with rocuronium and ketamine. ETA to the QE is 12 minutes from now.
Ryan and Dr. Jake travel with the man to provide continuous critical care throughout the journey.
GCS initially, eyes 1, voice 2, motor 5, GCS 8, so he had a high motor score.
The paralysing effect of the anaesthetic lasts for less than 30 minutes, so they have to constantly monitor to avoid any conflict between the patient's natural breathing and the ventilator.
We can take that further down on his legs almost. Happy?
Arriving at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, Birmingham,
Thank you. Can I pass you that?
the critically ill man is taken directly to the emergency doctors.
Initially, with the impact and the head injury, the patient can present a lot worse than the injury actually is because of the initial impact to the brain, the swelling, the bruising. So we won't really know anything until he gets a CT scan. And even then, it may be a few days he remains in an induced coma whilst the brain recovers. And he may have a very positive outcome Unfortunately, he appeared to be a very unwell gentleman at the scene, so I can only hope that he makes a positive outcome.
Ambulance service, is the patient breathing? Can I have an ambulance? Is the patient breathing? I don't know if the patient's breathing. There's been a gunshot. There's a gunshot. You need to bring an ambulance now. Oh my God. What's the address? No, I don't know. It's near like a field. There's another call coming through. Yeah, I've got it. Black patch car. Yeah. Did she say what had happened? Gunshot.
Every year in England, around 30 people die and over 160 are injured in shootings. With the possibility of a major incident, the police firearms unit has been dispatched, and so too have the critical care team of Dr. Ravi Chauhan and critical care paramedic Richard Apps.
The information's a bit sketchy. It sounds like the call might have come from the firearms unit saying that shots have been fired, but that's the only information they've got. Then there's lots of other calls that are apparently coming in, but we haven't really got any information on patients at the moment.
So that's firearms that have just gone
flying past us.
Emergency teams are racing to the incident, but in dangerous cases like shootings, ambulance crews and the critical care team meet at a rendezvous point until police make the scene safe.
I'm just going to ask him what's occurring.
Operations manager Jason Lowe is also on scene.
Right, so...
Have we got patient info at all?
Someone I got when I first got the job has been shot in the head.
So,
one crew member from that vehicle can drive this one, so if they are any arrests, we can go and take it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll just have a chat with Greg on the 17th.
Yeah.
The medical team need to change into full PPE, as resuscitation of the gunshot victim sounds likely.
I will put a Tyvek suit on just in case, but not my respirator, obviously. Because it's a reported shot to the head. So if we do go forward, good potential that it'll be an arrest.
While police search for the gunman and casualties, all Richard and Ravi can do is wait. The critical care team in the West Midlands operate 24/7.
We're on the way to someone who's been stabbed in the neck.
At night, when the air ambulance doesn't fly, a doctor joins the fast response cars.
Look at me. I'm going to get you onto the ambulance, OK?
Tonight, Dr. Matt Rowley is on shift with critical care paramedic Jack Lewis.
Good evening, Grant. We're just going to get some caffeine, mate. Obviously, all checked available and waiting for your call.
Hello, mate. There is literally a job that's come in for medic requests, if you are good to go.
Yeah, send it through.
Hello, you're speaking to the ambulance service at the main end. Somebody's had a car crash. It's completely fucked. Okay, how many cars are involved? He's lost control and it's a tree. Okay. His cars are right up. Can you see whether they are breathing? Everybody's breathing, but he's empty. Is he responding to anybody? No.
There's reports of a car into a tree, not very far away from us. Potentially multiple patients, one unconscious, we believe. We've got multiple resources on route.
On average, 5 people die every day on Britain's roads, with countless more seriously injured. Jack and Matt's enhanced life-saving skills are urgently needed.
Quick update from scene. Conscious male patient at the present, bleeding from the abdomen. Got to pacify extreme damage to the car. Update you further shortly.
So, multiple patients. Sounds like we've got at least 2, and a male. Sounds like they're still in the vehicle with a bleeding abdomen. I think this gentleman's got potential to be unwell.
On their arrival, police and ambulance are already on scene. One patient, the driver, has just been released from the car.
If you're happy, just continue to the back of the truck and we'll meet you on there. I'll take a look at the car. All right.
He was conscious when the passerby got to him, and they pulled him out of the car, placed him in the recovery position.
The operational commander briefs Matt on the incident.
He's jumped a fair way up that tree, hasn't he?
He really has. So it is a fair way up, and there is quite a bit of passenger space intrusion.
Yeah.
They did pull him from the driver's seat, so his side was quite smooth.
Right, cool. How are we doing?
With the driver now on the ambulance, Matt begins assessing the extent of his injuries.
Can you give my hand a squeeze for me? Good. Can you stick your tongue out for me? Stick your tongue out.
Roughly, yeah.
Squeeze this hand.
20-year-old Khalil, a restaurant cashier, was driving home from work when he lost control and crashed into the tree.
So unconscious with passerby then, he pulled him out, but then like this with you guys when you got here?
Yeah. When he first got there, eyes were closed.
Yeah.
As soon as he moved at all, track open eyes, track underneath, no response at all.
Khalil is agitated, but not responding to any commands.
Sit still for me, all right?
Keep your head down. Good man. All right.
Whatever you want.
Right, keep your head down. Good man. All right.
Jack inspects the car to get a better insight into what injuries Khalil may have sustained.
So significant passenger space intrusion. Driver space looks all right.
The windscreen has a clear imprint where Khalil's head smashed into it.
So he's clearly been unrestrained.
Jack updates the trauma desk.
Airbags have been deployed and it's clear that the seatbelt was not being worn. It's still fastened, so he's been sat on it by the looks of things.
All the indications are Khalil has sustained a life-threatening head trauma.
I haven't got you a full GCS breakdown, but it's safe to say he's not a GCS 15. It will probably either be the QE. We're just getting him on the back of the vehicle and sorted out. We'll come back to you with some obs and a plan shortly, not behaving normally. We're going to sedate him slightly, but it might be that that escalates to a full anaesthetic. But I'll come back to you with full details in a little bit. Received. Just relax, mate. Just lie back.
Yeah.
Lie back.
For me, all right? Keep your head down for me. Come back.
9660. You want to just snapshot that for us?
We've got BM5.
BM5, cool.
You can see from the vehicle that all the impacts have been taken on the passenger side, which is probably the only reason he's still alive. Although he's not been wearing his seatbelt, so he's clearly been thrown around in the vehicle. We can't see anything obvious in terms of fractures or huge wounds, but his behaviour is certainly not normal, potentially consistent with a head injury, like a closed head injury. So our first step is we're going to just give him a little bit of sedation so that we can assess him properly and calm him slightly. And then if needs be, it might be that becomes a full anaesthetic, but he's certainly gone through a significant mechanism of injury there.
So we're going to give a bit of ketamine, just see if we can get him chilled out a bit.
Yeah. Okay.
If we can't get adequate control of some ketamine, then we'll put him off to sleep.
Sit still for me. Come on.
You smell any alcohol at the top end?
Maybe.
No.
While giving the ketamine sedative, Matt and Jack discuss his coma scale assessment.
So GCS-wise, we are probably an E3, V1, motor, and then 5 probably, to localise.
Khalil's score is on the border between moderate and severe brain injury.
Is that a fair impact?
Oh, it's massive.
Enough to shake his head around. Can you give my hand a squeeze for me? Just squeeze my hand. Good. So yeah, he obeys commands. So if you're happy, I think we just go. Airway-wise, he's all right, isn't he? He's oxygenating, he's ventilating well. As you said, whether he's a bit shook up because he's had his brain rolled around his head, I think if you're in agreement, I don't think we should RSI him at the moment and just...
His airway's very patent, it's not maintained.
Just a little bit of ketamine if he gets unmanageable again, and 20 seems to have worked the trick.
Yep, sounds good to me.
After assessing him, Matt and Jack don't think a full anaesthetic is needed.
Up to the QE.
The ketamine has relaxed Khalil, enough to ensure he's safe to travel to hospital.
60.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jack updates the trauma desk, who will alert the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, Birmingham.
We can't find any obvious kind of musculoskeletal injuries. There's no abdominal guarding, chest seems clear, and nothing to the head. There's a small amount of ketamine sedation, but doesn't require anything further from us. So we're going to be escorting to the QE with an approximate ETA of probably about 20 minutes. So.
Yep, that is all received. I'll give them a shout for you.
Khalil is still in a life-threatening condition. So both Jack and Matt stay on the ambulance to closely monitor him, ready to intervene on the journey if necessary.
You give him a hand to squeeze for me? Good. All right, well done.
He will open his eyes if you ask him.
Yeah. So we're going to take him into resus at Queen Elizabeth Hospital. He'll get assessed by their trauma team. They'll reassess his airway, breathing, circulation, and then he'll probably need to go for a CT scan of his head and any other bits of his body that the team feel appropriate when they have a look at him.
At the Queen Elizabeth, the critical care team hand Khalil over to the trauma doctors for the next stage of his emergency care.
It's a massive impact, massive mechanism. Even we don't see that type of mechanism that regularly. And although we get a lot of RTCs, generally if people are wearing their seatbelts, they generally do okay. But as soon as people stop wearing their seatbelts, those are the ones that tend to come across our door a little bit because they generally have more significant trauma, more significant injuries that require our support. Anyone involved in that type of incident is lucky to be alive. You know, if the car had hit the tree on the other side, then he probably would. That would have probably been a fatality.
Ravi and Richard are in Smethwick, responding to multiple calls reporting a shooting. Police have been searching the area for the last 20 minutes.
There is evidence of a party, but there's no sign of any shooting, no sign of any patients, no sign of any disturbance.
It could be a malicious call, but the emergency team need to be sure no one's in need of their help.
Try and get us cleared.
They've gone in and done the sweep round, there's nothing there. So I took on the phone and say that we need to go and do the sweep round.
It does sound like it's going to turn out to be a hoax. Or, if not a hoax, a misunderstanding or misheard gunshots. So we'll, at the moment, I think we're going to stand by with the first crew. But we may get stood down ourselves shortly.
Another search of the area uncovers nothing. It's a frustrating but not uncommon false alarm.
So the firearms unit, they've probably got a few of them roaming around, and then obviously, we've got 2 crews, 2 officers and ourselves here, so it's quite a lot of resource for these kind of things. Fortunately, lots of them don't turn out to be anything. The majority don't, so, which is a good thing.
In the 25 minutes Ravi and Richard have been on scene, West Midlands Ambulance Service have received 70 genuine emergency calls.
Ambulance services to patient Freedom.
He's just been stabbed.
Okay, what have they been stabbed with, do you know?
A knife.
Okay, are they bleeding heavily?
Yes.
And how old are they?
But adults.
Know where the stab wounds are?
One's got one in the stomach, one's in the chest, and one's in the stomach. The one's got 2 stab wounds, losing consciousness.
Are you if he's lost about 2 mugfuls of blood?
It's close to.
Okay.
Can you just send an ambulance?
Yeah, it's not delaying any help, sir, okay.
6-2 Whiskey Romeo.
A stabbing is one of the most challenging situations a critical care specialist can face. If an artery has been severed, a patient can bleed to death in minutes.
Been deployed to reports of a double stabbing, 2 patients, one with chest injuries, one with chest and abdominal injuries in a park not too far from the QE, so hopefully it'll be a case of a rapid assessment, major hemorrhage or like, life threat control, and then a rapid extrication. 60, thank you. ETA approximately 3 to 4 minutes.
The critical care team in the West Midlands deal with more than 30 stabbings every week. Reducing the number of deaths is one of the service's main objectives.
Police en route. So you'll be first on scene.
Roger, that's all copied.
We are having updates to scene that these patients are unconscious. Police state their ETA was 2 minutes.
Roger, given the severity of their potential condition, I am happy to make scene with a dynamic risk assessment received.
With 2 patients' lives on the line, every second counts.
Updated report from police has come through that they're both unconscious, so potentially this is going to be 2 traumatic cardiac arrests. 60, that's all copied, just pulling up behind 4634 and Romeo 559.
On arrival, it's a major incident, with multiple police and ambulance teams already at the address.
Hi, Rob. Yeah. Roger.
2 neighbours have been attacked. Simon, who's outside, was stabbed while trying to defend his friend. "41-year-old Matthew, who has collapsed in the stairwell, has been stabbed twice.
Come on. Breathe. Come on, deep breath in. Come on, you can. Okay.
He is struggling for breath. The stab wounds are close to his lungs, and they are in danger of collapse.
They put Pedestrian on, I've not looked at wounds.
That's fine. Is he on O2? Hi, mate.
He's on O2 from police, not ours.
The wounds have been sealed, but with internal bleeding and potential organ damage, he's at high risk of going into cardiac arrest.
GCS 15, chest seal applied, oxygen on. We're just going to get him gone and gone. He's got a good chest wound and a good abdominal wound.
All right, we'll put him straight on 4634 because the crew are with him. The second crew, I haven't seen this guy's wound yet, but it's abdominal.
I'll have a quick
so I'm going to get this crew to bring
look.
their stretcher up and we'll get this guy's...
If we just load it both and just get them all just gone straight off. I'm just going to grab an apron because I'm half PPE'd.
Once in protective PPE, Jack can make a close assessment of the other victim.
Rob, whilst they're dealing with him, I'll just have another look through this guy.
54-year-old Simon has one small but potentially deadly incision.
All right, can I have a little look, sir?
You okay, mate? Just you okay? You okay?
Okay, good.
You're all right.
It's a bit of bowel, but it looks it looks like there's too much there with the lost vein to it. Potentially it's bowel, but
The stab wound has gone so deep, his bowel is now protruding out of his abdomen.
You okay, mate? Just you okay? You okay?
Okay,
You're
good.
all right.
If his bowel has been cut, he's in grave danger of sepsis, which can lead to organ failure.
So, hello, sir. My name's Jack, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Do you have any pain anywhere else? Have you been hurt anywhere else?
Yes.
Can we get this bag off you? Is that all right? Are you happy? I'm going to get this top off you, mate, okay? Just to check and make sure you've been stabbed anywhere else, all right? Okay, let's have a look in your arms. Nothing in the back. You definitely weren't stabbed anywhere else? No, there's no obviously bleeding, there's nothing into the wounds. Fine. Okay, good. Yes, happy for this gentleman on your stretcher. Is that the plan, Rob?
Let's get him, because the sooner he's moved...
Yeah, let's go.
Suddenly, a fight breaks out amongst the bystanders, threatening not just the care of the patients, but the safety of Jack and the ambulance crew.
Ambulance services, the patient breathing?
I don't know, though. I think he's underneath the bus.
Someone's been run over?
Yeah? Is the fire engine coming as well? Because they might have to lift the bus up.
Yes, I have requested for fire as well.
Hello, I'm actually a nurse. I spoke to the gentleman under the bus. He said he can breathe. However, his arms are trapped. He can't breathe arms to get from underneath the bus.
Okay. We are coming to on a blue light response and we'll be with you as soon as possible.
With a man run over by a 12-ton bus, the risk of catastrophic injuries is huge. So critical care paramedic Colin Apps is immediately dispatched.
The colleague, just so you're aware, so it's coming through as one patient. Man is still conscious, but still trapped underneath. But you have got a crew in attendance, and OM is about to book in as well. Over.
That's all copy, thank you. We're about 8 minutes away at the moment. Helicopter, helimed is going as well.
He's not trapped under the bus. His ankle is up by his head.
Sounds like he's going to have some injuries, doesn't he?
The incident is so serious, the air ambulance has also been scrambled.
There's very little space to get him out from underneath the bus. I have to drag him out now for the executioner.
12 minutes after receiving the call, Colin arrives and is briefed by the operations manager overseeing the incident.
He's just been trapped underneath this bus here. His ankles were literally by his head. This is as tight as you could get the bus.
Okay.
And we've literally just had to drag him out. It's literally full drum and half under.
GCS 15 still? But...
GCS 15, yeah.
And you don't think he looks very well?
Peel and clammy from what we could see. We couldn't get any oxygen. We literally just got him out.
Thankfully, just before Colin arrived, firefighters were able to free the man and he's now being assessed by paramedics.
Has he said he's got any pain anywhere?
In his arm. Where's your pain?
Guys, take his clothes off completely. Get full monitoring on him. We need an ECG on him so we can monitor his accurate heart rate.
Yeah.
All right?
We've got a blood pressure ESM. Yeah, 101 over 69. Good radial as well.
44-year-old Andrew was travelling to meet his wife when he stepped out in front of the bus.
He needs the pelvic binder on. Yeah, because if he's bleeding, we need to stop him bleeding before we start replacing anything.
Although Andrew is conscious, Colin is concerned. If he's broken his pelvis, he could have life-threatening internal bleeding.
So he's got no bleeding under there, but his leg was, you say, quite up above his head, yeah?
By his head, yeah. It's kind of bent over onto this leg was above there.
As a catastrophic internal hemorrhage can cause death within 5 minutes, Andrew's in need of urgent transfer to a major trauma centre.
60, could you just update me? Is helimed en route over?
How old are you, sir?
54. In Birmingham, critical care paramedic Jack is working to save the lives of 2 men who have been stabbed.
So I've got no odds on him other than he's got a good pulse. He's looking a bit pale, as you can see. Single isolated wound.
With 2 patients on his hands, Jack decides Simon is in the most stable condition for the ambulance crew to take over.
I've not taken his trousers off. It looks like there may be some bowel there. There's like a nice vein through part of the flesh, so it could be quite fatty, but I'm not prepared to say it's not bowel.
Yeah, no, sir.
All right.
The other victim, Matthew, is still in the stairwell and in more urgent need of Jack's critical care.
I can travel with either. Probably this chest guy. Probably stick with him because he's going to be the sicker guy.
A bit longer, and if there's anything going to go wrong, it's going to be with him.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm guarding these for their safekeeping. Please do not say anything. Stay there.
With tensions running high, police officers make a cordon to shield the paramedics from harm.
You guys have to get him on, and I'm going to start drawing out some TXA. Stand by. Life-threatening.
Life-threatening, okay.
Potentially life-changing. Yeah, you get him gone, get him gone.
Get him onto the truck, yeah?
I'll meet you there. Yeah.
So the dock ambulance can take you down to the ambulance.
It's vital Matthew is kept as calm as possible. With 2 deep stab wounds, any rise in blood pressure will increase the speed of blood loss and he could go into cardiac arrest. With a police dog escort as protection, Matthew is quickly evacuated to the safety of the ambulance.
Just let him go now. Yeah, go on, go. I know, yeah.
Try and get these doors shut. Yeah, I'm going to get on now.
Sorry. 6-2, go ahead. Very disordered scene. Can you pull yourself forward, mate, with my help? Matty, give us a hand. Now push yourself as far back as you can and get yourself sat up nice and high for me. Get your legs planted in, you've got good movement. You're doing really well. I know this is a really distressing time, but we're going to get you through it, all right?
Once on board, Jack gives Matthew a vital injection of tranexamic acid to try and stem the blood loss before updating the trauma desk.
I can't breathe.
So I have got a 41-year-old male. We've got 2 wounds. Okay, 1 non-sucking chest wound to the right anterior and 1 wound to the right lower quadrant.
They will alert the hospital to expect 2 critically injured patients who will need urgent surgery.
He's had TXA oxygen applied. The other patient is on the other vehicle. He has an abdominal wound, potentially a spat of small bowel visible. We are leaving scene now for the QE, ETA approximately 6 minutes.
While travelling on blue light, Jack closely monitors critically ill Matthew.
Is that pain a bit better? Yeah? Feel a bit easier? Good. You able to take a deep breath in for me? And out. Sore on that side? It's all right, I know, I just need this chassis to stick a bit. Otherwise it's not doing a huge amount. I don't think you damage your heart, I think it's your lung, essentially, or the space where your lung should be, okay? When the call came in to say we had 2 patients, both stabbed, potentially both unconscious, I'm thinking traumatic cardiac arrest. I'm going to have to really prioritise who's going to get my help first. Yeah, just twice. Yeah. The trick with these patients is get going while the going's good and don't waste time. We're not going to fix their problems on scene. If they arrest on scene, we're in a whole world of trouble.
30 minutes after the emergency call was made, both stab victims are handed over to the major trauma team at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, Birmingham.
Either of those wounds could potentially kill someone. The gentleman that I was with, he had air in his chest that was taking up space that lungs should have been taking up, so compromising his ventilation. The other gentleman, if he's nicked his bowel, that can be really quite complicated. Both are going to be at least life-changing and going to require significant recovery.
You got pain here? Pain there?
In Dudley, critical care paramedic Colin is dealing with a major incident at a bus station.
Do you take any medicine for anything, Andrew? Epilepsy? OK. You haven't had a fit at all, do you know of?
No. Andrew stepped out in front of a bus and was trapped under it for more than 20 minutes.
And we'll get morphine on the truck if you guys are up there. Yeah.
You will just give us the IV paracetamol for now.
Paracetamol going in, guys.
Andrew, you still here?
Yeah.
Good man.
Colin is concerned he may have life-threatening internal injuries.
Can we grab another cream?
Andrew, where does it hurt?
Just sat down, just feeling pretty shaky. In your shoulder. In your shoulder, is there?
So is it you had the TXA or was that just being drawn up, yeah?
Colin gives Andrew tranexamic acid to help stop excessive bleeding.
Just chuck it over this side, I'll pop it on this side.
Although they've managed to stabilise Andrew, they need to get him to hospital fast.
7062, what's Helimed's ETA now, over?
Colin checks the whereabouts of the helicopter.
What do you think about leaving scene to the QE? And we'll just, because I don't think Helimed's going to do anything extra now.
No, it's BP 91 over 6.
It's come up a little bit, so don't worry about the fluids for now. We'll do it on the way.
Rather than wait for the air ambulance, Colin and the crew decide it would be best if he escorts Andrew to hospital by road.
Nice one. Thanks, guys. See you later.
A patient with internal injuries can suddenly deteriorate, so Colin's critical care continues throughout the 20-minute journey.
How's your pain now? Does it hurt anywhere? What happened? Do you remember?
At the Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Birmingham, Colin hands Andrew into the care of the emergency doctors.
Okay.
All right, Andrew. She's at the hospital now. All right.
Quite a serious job, especially in terms of the mechanism and potential a serious injury. I suspect he's injured something, I'm not sure what. which is why he's having a CT scan so he can find out. In terms of his observations, he didn't seem terrible, but I'm sure he's got something wrong with him.
Ambulance service, the patient breathing.
I don't know, there's been a fight. He says cold by the looks of it. Somebody's having a right panic. You need to get somebody in straight away. Can you hear it going on?
Yeah, okay, so male adult.
Male adult by the looks of it, yeah.
And you said that he seems unconscious.
He said cold blood.
Have you got an idea what's happened at all?
Look like it at the fight. It all happened really quick, and then all you heard was this crack. And I'm reckoning his head on the tile floor. He's bleeding. Or he's being sick. Whatever it is, it's not looking good. Can you hurry up with the ambulance, please? They're doing CPR on it.
They're doing CPR, okay. We are coming as quick as we can, blue light.
An ambulance has been dispatched, but the man's injuries are so severe he may be in cardiac arrest and in need of enhanced critical care from Ravi and Richard.
We are going to central Birmingham to reports of an unconscious patient following an assault.
Hi, thanks. Just a quick update from the scene. There's a few crews in attendance. The patient you're going to has a GCS of 3. He was hit over the head with something. He has his pupils, trismus. They report the scene as being very chaotic. They're scooping the patient and loading him onto the back of the ambulance. They're going to try and get bilateral IV access ready for you.
Yeah, that's received. If they are having airway issues, I would suggest that they go to nearest whilst we make our way.
Yes, absolutely. They were still on scene when I spoke. I think, from what I heard, you are going to make scene before they're ready to leave. Received.
Yeah, many thanks.
The patient is in a life-threatening condition. He's deeply unconscious, and the ambulance crew already on site are struggling to get oxygen into him.
What they're reporting is trismus. Essentially, the jaw is locked, which means that the patient may not be able to get enough oxygen to the brain and to other organs. So if we're struggling with that, then we may have to act pretty swiftly. As you're probably aware, the brain can only survive so long without oxygen before you have irreversible damage.
Ambulance service, is the patient breathing?
Yes.
Are they conscious, awake?
No.
He's not responding to you?
He's not responding, no.
If you gently shake his shoulder, does he wake up in any way?
May, can you wake up for me? May, can you wake up for me? No, he's not.
Okay.
He's been in the car crash, in a fairly big one. By the looks of it, he's lost control and is driven into a lamppost and then a tree.
Okay.
He wasn't up and around for sort of 5 minutes. He lay down and then he sort of passed out through.
Okay. We are coming to him on blue lights.
A man suddenly collapsing after a high-speed road collision is a Category 1 emergency. An ambulance has been dispatched, but critical care backup from Polly and Sarah is also needed.
The patient has driven into a lamppost, then a tree. Only him involved. The patient was walking around after the RTC, then lay down. When you crash into motorway furniture or lampposts, they're all designed to deform. A tree is not designed to deform.
With over 1,700 deaths on Britain's roads every year, the team have to be prepared for the worst.
Hi guys, high speed RTC, still GTS 3. He's got some confusion to his head that might possibly be isolated head by the sound of it. Blood pressure 134/82. Making the screws to get a bit quite busy on speed.
That's absolutely fine. Just keep us updated before they leave the scene. It sounds like patient would require an RSI.
Sarah and Dr. Polly are highly qualified to perform an RSI or roadside anaesthesia should it be needed.
Is there enough space in here? Yeah, I think there is, yeah.
When they arrive, the injured man has been moved to the ambulance.
Right, we're both going to have to don level 3, aren't we?
As Polly and Sarah may need to put a breathing tube down into the man's lungs, they both must wear the highest level of protection against coronavirus.
So, really fine mechanism. It's a little bit weird. Something that's quite adequate, to be fair.
While they dress, the paramedic updates them.
And he's come out of the car. He's been walking around for about 5 minutes apparently.
Yep.
Witnessed by bystanders.
Yep.
And he's just collapsed. So he's been GCS of 3 with us.
A GCS, or Glasgow Coma Scale assessment of 3, is the lowest level of consciousness and a sign of possible brain trauma.
Hello, buddy. My name's Dr. Hayward. I'm one of the merit team. I'm just having a feel across your chest wall, sweetheart, OK? He's got like a laceration there.
Is there anything to suggest that he's under the influence of anything? What's that?
Bit of a lack there, like a seatbelt lack. He's got a very firm belly, but all his numbers are normal.
Completely perplexed.
Although the man is unresponsive, his vital signs are good.
What's his name?
Matthew.
Matthew, have you taken something? Hold your arms up for me, buddy. Hold your arms up. See, there's tone in there. Hold your arms up. OK, hold it up there for me, buddy.
To assess Matthew's brain function, Polly checks his arm reflex.
This is all very odd, isn't it?
Yeah.
If he's unconscious, his arm should fall totally limp without any reflex. But as she drops it, Polly can feel the muscle tense, which is very unusual for someone unaware of what's happening.
So it seemed to walk at scene, but then...
Yeah, he got out of the car for about 10 minutes, was complaining about pain in his back, was fixated about finding his phone, and then by all accounts he sort of sat down on the edge of the road and then collapsed and was in this state from that point.
It's a mystery Polly needs to solve fast. Time could be running out for Matthew.
Let me just have a listen to his chest. There's nothing here on his numbers that makes me want to put him to sleep.
Dr. Ravi and critical care paramedic Richard have been dispatched to Birmingham city centre, where a man has been seriously injured after a fight. He's now on an ambulance. The crew brief Ravi.
What's going on?
This is Julian Grizzly. He assaulted in the head.
Yeah.
I'll step out to GCS 3.
Yeah.
32-year-old lorry driver Julian was on a night out when he tried to intervene in a fight. He was punched and fell to the floor. He's now fighting for his life.
Whether CPR was started or not.
Yeah.
There's a lot of commotion.
Yeah.
His right ear, he's got serial amounts of congealed blood. Pupils, left side sluggish in 3s, right side was reactive in 3s.
Julian is completely unresponsive and bleeding from his ear. All the indications are he has suffered a traumatic brain injury.
It was trismus. We couldn't get an OPA in, so we popped an MPA in on the left-hand side. Stats were 92 on air, they're now 100% on 15 litres. Got bilateral access. He's been blood pressure stable throughout, and we've given him 1 gram TXA.
Brilliant.
Julian's jaw has locked, so the paramedics have inserted a tube through his nose to get vital oxygen into him and keep his heart and other organs functioning.
Looks like gentleman's been assaulted and it seems deeply unconscious at the moment. So Ravi's just going to assess him, but we may just travel as we are because we're not that far from the hospital and reassess on the way.
You might as well tell him to get ready.
Yeah.
Julian needs all the skills and resources of a major trauma hospital. As the Queen Elizabeth is just 10 minutes away, Ravi decides this is the best option.
Hi, it's Ravi. So can you just put a quick alert to the QE to say that we're going to be there in a couple of minutes with a GCS 3 head injury, observation stable, and have anaesthetics on standby. So we're not going to RSI here, but you'll probably need us. Okay, cool. All right, so that. Bye.
Having updated the trauma desk, Ravi monitors Julian closely throughout the journey, while Richard follows the ambulance, ready to help should his condition deteriorate further. At the hospital, Julian is taken straight into the emergency department for ongoing trauma care.
It's difficult with these conditions and these incidences to determine what the outcome's going to be. Because I work in the intensive care setting, this is something I see quite regularly, and there are people that come in very unconscious that wake up and walk out of hospital 12 hours later. And on the other end of the spectrum, you've got somebody that's severely disabled that needs care for the rest of their life. Until the hospital have done the scans, they've given him some time to recover, you know, we won't really know what his outcome's going to be.
Ambulance service. Is the patient breathing?
No, I don't know. An old man's just dropped and collapsed on the floor. Hit his head. Heavily bleeding from the head.
Is he making a grunting or is
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, is he awake?
Hello? Hi. No, you're not awake.
No response. We've got the help on the way for him, okay? AKG Bell 2144, please come through the Cat 1, unconscious, noisy breathing. ETA is about 10 minutes, proceed.
Roger, all copy, no worries, I'll give you an early update. Thanks, ETA approximately 3 minutes.
A man who has suddenly collapsed and reportedly unconscious is part of the reason the critical care team was set up.
We're about a minute out, we'll probably be first on scene. There's a crew also en route, but they're probably about 8 minutes behind us.
They are highly trained, able to administer life-saving treatments at the roadsides over and above regular ambulance teams.
Male in his 70s, unconscious, sounds like a collapse. Patient collapse, hit head. Hi guys. Hello, my name's Jack from the air ambulance. How are you? What's your name? Tony. Do you know what's happened, Tony?
Tony, a retired engineer, was on his way to his local shops when he fell and hit his head on the pavement.
Do you remember what's happened at all? No, you banged your head, you've given yourself quite a clock, I think.
Yeah,
Have you got any pain anywhere? Nothing at all? Okay. So you don't remember what's happened, you've been seen to walk down the street and you've gone down and you've clocked your head. I can see you've got a nasty wound to your head there. Can I give you a bit of a check over, Tony?
Yeah.
Although Tony has regained consciousness, he has no recollection of what's happened.
Yeah.
How old are you, sir? Give me a rough idea. 64. And do you suffer with any medical problems?
Nothing.
Nothing at all. Do you take any
He's also very confused. Tony is 75 years old, not 64.
I'll sit up next to you, it's whatever you'd rather. Do you think we can get this jacket off? I think you're probably a bit warm.
It's 27 degrees, and Tony is dressed for winter. Overheating may be one reason for his collapse.
Give you a bit of a check over. Have you had much to do? Any food, lunch today? Anything to eat? No. Much water? No.
Jack needs to be sure there aren't any other underlying causes, particularly seeing he already has another recent head injury.
Do you take any medicine to thin your blood? No. Okay.
Tony's displaying some concerning symptoms.
Do you take any medicine for anything at all? Nothing. Okay.
His sudden fall, difficulty speaking clearly, and confusion could all be signs of a stroke.
Very flat, isn't it?
In Shrewsbury, Dr. Polly and critical care paramedic Sarah are dealing with a puzzling case.
Buddy, come on, matey.
Matthew has had a high-impact car crash and appears to be deeply unconscious. But Polly thinks he may have some awareness, and for an unknown reason, can't move or respond to her.
Inside of the vehicle.
Have we got big intrusion? He has got a shift there, hasn't he, into the centre console?
The back and then there.
To try and establish what might be causing Matthew's paralysis, she looks at photos of the crash to see if she can glean any clues.
By all accounts, he was into a lamppost, then onto a tree.
So with those scene photos, we need to go to major trauma centre. The options are we tube him, or we take him straight and we tube him if necessary. His numbers are perfect. He looks good. He had voluntary swallow. Been watching him swallow.
just not wanting to respond to us, is it?
No.
Having examined the scene, Polly suspects Matthew has internal injuries. She tries one last time to wake him. She gives his skin a sharp pinch to see if he has any response to pain.
I think on paper we are GCS3. I have given a really big painful stimulus.
Big mechanism.
Big mechanism of injury. He's got voluntary eyelash reflex. He's got some swallow. Yeah. But I've given a very painful stimulus and no dice. Right, we'll go to Stoke, walk us into sleep.
I'll just tell the OM exactly what we're doing and I'll set it. Hi, you're right. So it's a long journey to Stoke. We're going to put him to sleep. There's something doesn't add up here. He's just not responding to pain.
We're doing the RSI here then, are we?
Yes,
okay,
yeah. Is that all right?
Concerned Matthew may have a brain injury that could have life-changing consequences, Polly decides to put him into an induced coma to reduce swelling in the brain, protecting it from further damage.
Our journey time up to Stoke is about 35 to 40 minutes. So we're just going to quickly pop him to sleep for the journey and then he can go straight into a CT scanner to assess him for his injuries. Although we can't physically see any injuries on him at the moment, he's not waking up.
Matthew! Matthew! I'm having a look at his airway. He's got a smallish chin, but that looks pretty reasonable.
There is always a risk putting a patient into a coma, but doing it on an ambulance 35 miles from the nearest trauma centre, the stakes are so much higher.
We'll optimise our airway position.
So the ventilator's working, I'm going to turn it off for now.
And what have we got there? Ket, rock, a bag of fluid for flushes.
So I think we're pretty much there now.
The checks are done, drugs drawn up, Polly is ready to anaesthetise.
Oh, hello. Oh. All right, buddy. That's about on time.
When Matthew suddenly comes round.
Matthew, open your eyes. Hello, buddy. You're on the back of an ambulance, sir. Matt, open those eyes for me again. So we've had voluntary eye opening, that's great. Obeying commands, 9. Can you talk to me, buddy? My name's Dr. Hayward. We're near Shrewsbury, fella. You've been in an accident. Hi, Matt. I know we're dressed up like out of something like out of ET, all right, but you have had a period of being unconscious. Do you know where you are? No. So I think what we'll do is we're all ready to go. If we give you a nod, we can RSI on the way. There's no indications to put this patient to sleep.
As Matthew is now conscious and responding to Polly, the anaesthesia is aborted.
Have you got pain anywhere?
Everywhere.
Everywhere? Where hurts, fella?
My neck.
Your back and your neck. OK, sweetheart. So if you can bring that neck a little bit straighter, we're going to just tape you here to keep your neck nice and still, buddy, OK? Have you got pain in this tummy? Are you OK? Or is it in your back?
Belly.
Belly in your back. All right, sweetheart. Right, let's just leave sooner rather than later.
Matthew may have spinal damage. He needs an urgent CT scan to check for any fractures in his vertebrae, which could cause paralysis.
We have a 28-year-old male who was a driver of a car, high speed, impact into a lamppost and a tree.
Sarah updates the trauma desk on Matt's condition and to alert the hospital of their arrival.
Was a GCS of 3, but still had eyelid reflexes in the way of blinking when you touched his eyelids, but there was no response to pain.
Dr. Polly continuously monitors Matthew during the journey to Stoke.
Thank you.
Got it. OK.
All good, yeah, thank you.
OK, just monitor.
15 minutes later, the critical care team can finally hand Matt over to the waiting trauma doctors.
Blood pressure's good, you are quite tacky. I think you're probably quite dehydrated.
Critical care paramedic Jack Lewis is treating 75-year-old local resident Tony after he collapsed unconscious in the street.
Hello. Have a little bit of water for me?
He has a nasty head wound and may have a bleed to his brain or suffered a stroke.
This is Tony. So Tony's fairly regular fixture around here.
An ambulance crew has arrived to take him to hospital. Jack briefs them on his initial assessment.
He's walked down the street a bit unsteady, held onto that and then collapsed, fell to the pavement, hit his head as you can see, with a brief period of LOC. On my arrival, GCS 14, sat himself up, no obvious neck pain, not complaining of pain anywhere else. Wound here, not actively bleeding, a bit boggy and a bit kind of angulated.
Right then, Tony.
We'll get you on this stretcher, Tony.
You on our stretcher?
Legs together, that's it.
Ready to push? 1, 2, 3. Good man.
Tony needs an urgent scan and full investigation into the underlying cause of his collapse.
I'll pop you up to Russell's Hall to get your head looked at.
Four.
Why? Because you've cut your head.
That's 3 or 4 days now.
It's not. You've done it today.
You've got a nasty bump as well.
Not today.
All the blood on the pavement says otherwise.
Jack knows there could be many reasons for Tony's confusion. Heat exhaustion, dehydration, or something more life-changing.
GCS 14 initially.
You don't remember falling at all?
Not today.
No. Okay.
Even more reason to pop up the hospital then. You need to get that looked at.
After updating the trauma desk on his assessment, Jack has done all he can for Tony at the scene.
Take care, Tony. Feel better soon, sir. OK.
And hands him into the care of the ambulance crew for the journey to hospital.
Fair time.